Welcome everybody. It's really nice that you've all turned up again this morning. I hope you have had a good week and looking forward to whatever shows up in the rest of our lives for the rest of the week and the rest of the year. Let's bring our hands to our heart and finding a good sitting position with your sit bones pressed into the floor and your back stretched up, broaden across your collarbones. And close your eyes and turn into your breath and present yourself on the mat. Noticing the rise and fall of your breath. And we'll open with 3 ohms. Exhale, inhale. 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 Open your eyes, release your hands. So word of the day is kindness. Looking for kindness to ourselves and our bodies and kindness out into the world. So just reading a little thing here from what Roald Dahl says about kindness. I think probably kindness is my #1 attribute in a human being. I'll put it before any of the things like courage or bravery or generosity or anything else. Kindness, that simple word, to be kind, it covers everything to my mind. If you're kind, that's it. So that's coming from Roald Dahl. So in our practice this morning, bringing kindness to your practice, to yourself in your practice. If some of the poses don't suit you, just back out and take it easy, or take the more doable version of it. For myself, practicing kindness in the practice this morning, somehow or other I've managed to damage my back this week, and I may have to quit completely and just call the practice to you. I'll see how I go. So I'm practicing kindness to myself, and however that shows up for you, see if you can bring kindness to your practice and then bring it out into your life. Okay, come on to your hands and knees, coming into cat-cow. Slip my cardigan off before I start. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. And exhale and round your back up towards the ceiling. And inhale, sinking down between your shoulder blades, flare your toes. Exhaling, rounding up. Inhale, sinking down. Body following breath. And do 8 more of those, moving with your breath. Coming to a place of stillness, move into down dog, walk your hands forward, walk your knees back, turn your toes under, lift your hips up. Arms wide open shoulders, externally rotate your upper arms. Press your heels towards the floor. More doable, feet slightly apart. More difficult, feet together. Engage, squeeze your shins in, squeeze your inner thighs. Tighten your glutes, engage your core. Look at a point between your thumbs, melt your heart. Foot forward into plank, lift your head, look up. Heels over toes. Grip the floor with your fingertips. And then knees, chest, chin, come all the way to the floor, come into locust. Arms by your sides, turn your palms up, squeeze your heels together. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Invite your shoulder blades together on your back. Press the tops of your feet into the floor, flare your toes. Tighten your glutes, see if you can lift your head and shoulders a little higher. Release and move into revolve lunge. Come onto your hands and knees. Step your right foot forward. Line up your fingernails with your toenails. Left hand with right foot. Lift your back knee off the floor. More difficult, more doable. Lift, keep it on the floor. Float your right arm up to vertical. Look towards your right. Lift your heart. Lift your chest. Lower your hand, switch feet, front foot back foot forward. Lift your top arm up. Move your right hand arm out to the side of the mat if need be. Lift the back of your back knee up. Back heel vertical over toes. Lift your chest. Lower all the way to the floor. Come into locust, hands band. Clasp your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Press the tops of your feet into the floor. Lift your arms off your back as high as you can. Lift your head and chest. Move your ears back. Lift your legs off the floor. And release. Move into down dog lunge. Come onto your hands and knees. Turn your toes under. Lift your hips up. Hands wider than shoulders. And step your right foot forward. Walk your hands forward as in down dog, arms, hands wider than shoulders. Grip the floor with your fingertips. Lift your back heel up to vertical and drop your head and look back towards your back foot. Lift the back of your back knee up. And switch feet. Front foot back foot forward, hands wide and shoulders, back heel up to vertical, drop your head, look back towards your back foot. Moving into superhero, lower to the floor, stretch your legs out behind you, stretch your arms out in front of you, hands shoulder width apart, tops of your feet on the floor, flare your toes. Inhale, lift your arms off the floor, lift your legs off the floor. Stretch the tips of your fingers away from you, stretch your toes away from you, squeeze your legs together, tighten your glutes, lift your head and shoulders even higher. Moving into mountain, come and stand up. Walk your hands to your feet. Bring your hands together as if in prayer. More doable, feet hip width apart. More difficult, feet together. Press down equally with the four corners of your feet into the floor. Big toe mound, inner heel, little toe mound, outer heel. Squeeze your shins in, engage your quads, tighten your glutes. Press your tailbone down. Stretch from your hips to your armpits. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Move your ears back. Turn your whole attention to your breath. Open your eyes, release your arms, moving into summit. Inhale, lift your arms overhead, clasp your hands together, interlace your fingers, turn your palms up, press up through the heel of your hands, move your arms into the back plane. As you reach out, way out into the universe, root down deep into the earth with your feet. Engage your core. Inhale and gently release. And moving into high lunge, walk to the back of your mat. Inhale, lift your arms up, hands shoulder width apart, point palms in. Step forward, big step forward with your right foot. Lift the back of your back knee up. Stretch your front knee away from your back heel. Move your ears back, lift your head, look up. Lower your arms and then pivot all the way around to the back of your mat. Front knee over ankle, lift the back of your back knee up. Back heel over toes, lift your head, look up. Stretch your front knee away from your back heel. Lower your arms and step your feet together into the middle of the mat. Moving into crescent. Feet together or inner hip width apart. Inhale, lift your arms up. Bring your palms together, don't interlace them. Stretch your fingers wide away from each other. Inhale, move your hips to the right, your torso to the left, be as sideways as possible. Inhale, come back up and be as sideways in the other direction. Inhale, come back up, lower your arms by your side, come into Tadasana, mountain pose. Paying attention to your foundation, press down with your feet. Squeeze your legs together, tighten your glutes, engage your core. Roll your shoulders back, move your ears back. Stretch arms down, stretch fingers down. Moving into power pose. Lift your arms up overhead, hands shoulder width apart. Bend your knees, sink down, engage your core. Back straight, Inhale, press down, stand up, and make your way onto your hands and knees once more. Roll onto your knees and step your right foot forward, moving into monkey lunge. So front knee over ankle for now. Clasp your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, bend your elbows, and bring your thumbs onto your sacrum. Or you can place your hands on your hips if it makes you feel a little bit more stable. Inhale, move your hips forward and down so that your knee comes forward over your front toes. One of the few times we have our knee forward in yoga. Lift your arms behind you, away from you, stretch your knuckles away, lift them up as high as you can. Lift your chest, stretch your spine, broaden across your collarbones, move your ears back, look up. And release, and switch to the other side. Front foot back, back foot forward. Knee over ankle to start. Clasp your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Thumb your hands on your sacrum. Move your hips forward and down. Press the top of your back foot into the floor. Stretch your arms out behind you. Lift your chest up, broaden across your collarbones. Move your ears back, sink down, flare your toes. Lift your arms up as high as you can. Inhale, come back to center. And moving into side plank, come onto your hands and knees. Hands wider than shoulders on the floor, walk your knees back, turn your toes up, coming momentarily into down dog, and pivot your ankles to the right. Move your right hand into the middle of your mat, line up your right, make your right hand bisect your right foot, so that your hand and shoulder and right foot are all in a line, and then lift your top arm up. And of course, you can always take the other option, which is place your left foot in front of you on the mat. So yogi's choice. And press the sole of your foot into the floor, your right foot. Move your head back. Look up. And then lower that hand, come through down dog. And over onto the other side. Move your left hand into the middle of the mat. Come onto the outside edge of your left foot. Stack your right ankle on top of your left ankle. Lift your top arm up. And then press the sole of your left foot towards the floor. Lift your head, look up. And gently release and come and make your way up to standing. We're coming back into mountain. Hands to your heart. Close your eyes. Come to your breath. Moving into tree pose. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Lift your right foot and place it either against your ankle, your shin, or your upper inner thigh, yogi's choice. Bring your hands as if in prayer. More doable, stay here. More difficult, inhale, lift your arms up. Clasp your hands together, point your index finger. Root down with the standing leg into the floor. Stretch hands up, stretch fingers up. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Engage your core. Inhale and release your arms down. And shift over onto your right foot. Lift your left foot and place it against your ankle, your shin, or your upper inner thigh. And again, hands to heart initially until you find your place of balance and can stay here. Or inhale and lift your arms up. Point your index fingers. Inhale and release down. And moving into eagle pose. Shift your weight onto your left foot and lift your right leg and wrap it around the left leg. And then lift the left arm and wrap the right underneath. Hug the midline, keeping your back straight, bend the standing leg, sink down, gaze straight ahead, move your ears back, hugging the midline. Inhale, stand up and switch to the other side. Shift your weight onto your right foot, lift your left leg, wrap it around the right, lift the right arm and wrap the left underneath and hug the midline. Back straight, lift your gaze. Press down, stand up. Moving into Trikonasana, step your feet wide apart. So don't forget, line up the root of your second toe with the middle of your foot. Inhale your arms up. Turn your right foot out. Line up the front heel with the middle of the back arch. If you're using a block, now is the time to grab it. So I'm going to use a block this morning myself. Or a book, or a seat, or a chair, or your leg. It doesn't really matter what you use. Lift your arms up. Look out over your right hand arm. Reach forward over the right fingers and place your hand on the block and lift your top arm up to vertical. Press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor. Roll your left hip back, your left ribs back. And just rooting down with your right hand into the floor, engage the quads in both legs. Inhale, come back up to center, take your block with you, turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out, place your block. Inhale, float your arms up. Don't forget, look out over your left hand arm and then reach forward, place your hand on the block, lift your top arm up to vertical. Inhale, come back up and switch again. Left foot in, right foot out. And moving into half moon, place your block or a book or low stool towards the corner of your mat, or you might put your hand just straight onto the ground. Walking back towards halfway down your mat. Inhale, lift your right arm up. Step forward with your right foot. Bend your right knee. Lean forward. Place your hand on the block. Lift your back leg out behind you. Turn the outside edge of your back foot up towards the ceiling. Roll your left ribs back, your left shoulder back. Stay here, more doable. Lift your top arm up. You can also put your top hand on your hip. Push through the heel of the lifted leg. Push through the heel of the foot that's on the floor. Inhale, make your way back up to standing and switch the block over to the other side. Walk back a little bit. Lift your left arm up, step forward with your left foot, bend your left knee, lean forward, place your hand on the block, lift your back leg up behind you. Push through your heel. Top arm vertical. Lift your gaze. And release. And coming into wide leg forward fold. Again, I'm going to use blocks myself this morning for this. Step your feet wide apart. Line up the root of your second toe with the middle of your ankle. Squeeze, hug your legs in towards each other. Squeeze your inner shins, your inner thighs. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward and place your hands on the floor under your shoulders, either on floor or on blocks, and then melt your heart. Keep squeezing your inner shins together, your inner thighs, engage your core, turn your sit bones up. And walk your hands back so that your fingernails line up with your toenails and just hinging forward. Just go wherever is comfortable for you. Inhale, come back to center. And moving into extended side angle. Turn your right foot out. Bend your right knee over ankle. And place the block on the little toe side of your right foot, or place your hand on the floor, or keep your elbow on your knee. So yogi's choice. Inhale, lift your left arm over. Roll your shoulder back, your ribs back. Look up towards your palm. Press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor. Engage your quad of your back leg. Root down with your front foot. Move your front knee out in line with your second toe. Lift your chest up. Press your elbow into your knee. Or your hand into the floor or block. Inhale. Make your way back up to standing. Turn your right foot in. Turn your left foot out. And we'll move into the other side. Inhale, lift your arms up. Bend your front knee. If you're using your block, transfer your block. Lean forward and place your hand either on the block, the floor, or your elbow on your knee. Lift your top arm up. Press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor. Roll your ribs back. Look up at your top hand or arm. Turn your palm up on your left. If you have your elbow on your knee, turn your palm up. If you have your hand on the floor or block, press down your hand into the floor or into the block. Inhale, make your way back up to standing and come and lie down on your back. Moving into leg lifts. So lying down, curl your right knee into your chest and stretch your leg up towards the ceiling. Lift your arms overhead behind you, clasp your hands, point your index finger. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders off the floor towards your upright leg. Got that wrong, hang on a second. Oh. Sorry, legs on the floor. Inhale, lift your right leg up and lift your head and shoulders towards your right knee. Exhale and come down, lift your left leg up. Moving with your breath. Lifting each leg one at a time. If your lower back is bugging you, you might want to bend your knee and bring your knee in. Do 10 on either side. Make this your last one. And bring your arms by your sides, turn your palms up, and just relax for a moment. Noticing the sensations in your body. Moving into half happy baby. Bend your right knee into your chest. Clasp your right foot with both hands. Turn the sole of your foot up towards the ceiling. Sole of foot parallel to the ceiling. Front shin vertical. Ankle over knee. And draw your foot down towards the side of your body as if to bring your knee to the floor. And push up with your foot into your hands. At the same time, push through your heel on your left leg. Press your left thigh into the floor. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Press your head into the floor. Notice what your breath is doing. And release and switch to the other side. Stretch your right leg out, curl your left knee in, and clasp your left foot with both hands. Draw down on the left foot with both hands, shin vertical, knee towards the left-hand side of your body. Heel over knee as best you can. Push through the outstretched leg on the floor. Press the back of the thigh into the floor. Release that leg back to the floor and move it into bow pose. Lie on your bellies. Bend your knees. Bring your heels into your hips and clasp your ankles. Squeeze your knees together. Inhale, kick your legs up and back. Lift your legs up as high as you can. Externally rotate your upper arms. Lift your chest up, broaden across your collarbones. Knees off the floor if it's available to you. Now keep holding your ankles, release your knees to the floor, turn the soles of your feet parallel to the ceiling, keeping your knees on the floor, lift your head and shoulders off the floor, bring your shins to vertical if that's available to you. and release. And come and sit up. I'm just going to check the time. Moving into one hand arm pose. Stretch your right leg out. You might want to sit up on a block if you have one, just to stop us from rounding forward. And bend your left knee and clasp your left foot with both hands and lift your foot off the floor. Shin parallel to the ceiling. Hold your left foot with the opposite hand. Lift your left arm up, place it between your legs, and then bring it out to the side so that you can hook your leg over your arm, and then place the other hand on the floor. And at this point here, you can either lean forward and lift your bum off the floor, or lean back and lift your leg off the floor. So I choose to lean forward this morning, whatever feels good for you. Flex and point the outstretched leg. And release, and switch to the other side. Stretch your left leg out. Bend your right knee, clasp your right foot with both hands. Lift your shin parallel to the ceiling. Draw the knee back behind you. Hold your right heel with your opposite hand, with your left hand. Lift your right arm up. Place it between your legs, and then hook your leg over your upper right arm. Keep that, and either lean back, lift the leg off the floor, lean forward, lift your hips off the floor. And don't forget to breathe when you're under stress. And gently release. And make our way into a thunderbolt. So, knees together, heels together. Sit back in your heels. More doable, knees apart. More difficult, knees together. And place your hands just in front of your knees so that your wrists, the backs of your wrists are touching your knees. And then press down with your sit bones into your heels so your toes are turned under. If you look at my screen, you'll see. And lift your head and look up. So push down into your heels and breathe. And then moving into crane, if you want to try it. Come into squat pose, separate your feet hip width apart. Place your hands on the floor, hands shoulder width apart. Bend your elbows, lean forward, squeeze your knees into your upper arms, and then either just lift your hips up and one toe off the floor and lift the other toe off the floor of the opposite foot, or both feet off the floor. Squeeze your heels into your hips, stretch your arms up. And come down. And just pause. Let's just pause in squatting pose in Malasana here. So sink down between your heels. Bring your hands a different prayer, or place your hands on the floor. And just squeeze your knees into your elbows into your knees. Press your hips towards the floor. Look up. And make your way into dolphin pose. Place your hands. Walk your feet back. No, I got that wrong, sorry. Come onto your elbows. Clasp your hands together. Turn your toes under, lift your hips, and walk your feet in towards each other, towards your elbows. Lift your head, look up. Press your heels towards the floor. Legs straight as you can. Press the backs of your knees away from you. And gently release. And moving into monkey lunge. Palms apart. Step your right foot forward. Lift your arms up, hand shoulder width apart, and move your hips forward and down. Lift your head, look up. And gently release and switch to the other side. Right knee back, left knee forward. Lift your arms up. Inhale. Move your hips forward and down. And release your hands to the floor. And moving into cow face pose. Hands under shoulders. And lift your right knee, cross it behind you, and sit back on the jumble of your legs. This is the best way to describe it. So you're not sitting down between your heels. And then lift your right arm up, bend your elbow, bring your right arm down your back, lift your left arm out to the side. If you have a strap or a belt, you can also use to try and bring your hands closer together. Your hands don't quite meet. And release and switch to the other side. Come onto your hands and knees and lift your left knee and park it behind your right knee. Sit back on your legs and lift your left arm up, bend your elbow, bring your hand down your back, lift your right arm out to the side, clasp your hands behind you, lift your head, look up. And release. And moving into pigeon quad, just into pigeon actually. Come onto your hands and knees. Move your right knee forward and park it outside your right wrist and walk your back leg back behind you. You like to just check that when you look back over your left shoulder, that your left leg isn't off out towards the corner, the edge of the mat, so sort of in a line directly behind you. And then stretch it up, place your hands on the floor or on blocks, and then press your hips down towards the floor. Press the back of your foot into the floor, flare your toes, lift, broaden across your collarbones, move your ears back. Squeeze your elbows in. Draw your right hip back. And switch to the other side. Right knee back, left knee forward. Walk your back knee back, flare your toes. And from here, making your way into bridge pose. The option is you can choose upward bow if you wish. I'm going to take bridge pose myself, and I'm actually going to put a block under my back. So yogi's choice, whatever you wish to do today. So bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips. Inhale, press down with your feet into the floor and lift your hips up. And if you're using a block, slip the block in underneath. If you're not, just press your heels down into the floor, turn your palms up, press your head into the floor, and lift your hips up as high as you can. If you're lifting off and you're not using a block. If you're coming into upward bow, place your hands under your shoulders, point your fingers towards your feet, move up onto your head, and then lift yourself up. Press down with your heels, lift your hips up, and lower down. See if you can come down vertebrae by vertebrae. It's a very lovely thing to do. And moving into recline big toe prep. Stretch your right leg out, curl your left knee in. Stretch your left leg out, curl your right knee in, clasp the right thigh, and stretch your leg up, push up through your heel, draw your leg towards you, push your left heel away from you. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Pressing your thigh away from you, draw the leg towards you with your hands. Release that leg to the floor. Stretch it out, curl your left knee in, clasp your left thigh with both hands, stretch your leg up, push up through your heel, and draw that whole left leg towards you. Press through your right thigh, push through your right heel. Bend your knee, lower that leg to the floor. And moving into thread the needle, lift your right foot and place the outside edge of your right foot on top of your left knee. And then bend your left knee, bring your knee into your chest, slip your hands between your legs and catch your knee. Make both feet active, shins parallel to the ceiling. Press your lower back into the floor. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Remember the maps of Africa. Release your left foot to the floor and lift your left foot and place the outside edge of it on top of your right knee and bring your right knee into your chest. Thread your hands between your legs, make both feet active. Press your lower back into the floor. And release. And stretch your left leg out and bend your right knee and what am I doing? Bring your roll over onto your left hand side and bring your inner right knee to the floor with your knee bent, and then stretch your right hand arm out behind you and then lift your head off the floor, turn it and look back towards your backhand arm, inviting your shoulder blades onto the floor. Inhale, come back to center. And stretch your right leg out. And switch over onto the other side. Roll over onto your right hip. Bring your inner left knee to the floor. You can place your right hand on top of your left knee, then roll your left ribs back, your left shoulder back, left arm out, back of hand, arm on the floor. Lift your head off the floor, turn it, look back towards your backhand arm. Release that. And just check the time. Come into happy baby, bend both knees, clasp the outside edge of both feet with your hands, turn the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling, separate your knees wider than your shoulders, your heels should be in line with your knees, shins vertical, press down on the soles of your feet, press your lower back into the floor, shoulder blades onto your back, press your head into the floor. Keep pressing your lower back towards the floor. Release your legs and bring both knees into your chest. Come into reclined child's pose and give yourself the most loving, delicious, kindly hug. And it's time to prepare for relaxation. So you know what to do. If you want to put something on you to keep yourself a little warmer. And stretch your arms out, your legs out, and come and lie down. quietly and gently. Bring your attention back to your body and onto the mat. You can awaken your body by moving your hands, your feet. Perhaps give yourself a stretch. And then in your own time, roll to one side and make your way up to sitting. So before we complete today, I'm just going to read a poem to you. Sometimes things don't go, after all, from bad to worse. Some years, muscadel faces down frost. Green thrives, the crops don't fail. Sometimes a man aims high and all goes well. A people sometimes will step back from war, elect an honest man, decide they care enough that they can't leave some stranger poor. Some men become what they were born for. Sometimes our best efforts do not go amiss. Sometimes we do as we meant to. The sun will sometimes melt a field of sorrow that seemed hard frozen. May it happen for you. Bring your hands together in front of our hearts. Turn in one last time to honor ourselves, each other, the practice. We close with one arm. Exhale, inhale. Thanks for practicing, thanks for coming to practice, and see you on the mat.